Why? Why Netflix? Why? Okay, gotta pull myself together. Hey everybody, my name is Neal. This is Pope Culture. Today I want to talk briefly about Space Force, a new Netflix comedy that, yikes, misses the mark. Why? Why? So look, this show had everything going for it. It's created by Greg Daniels and Steve Carell. Greg Daniels, of course, being the man behind the US version of The Office. I'm wearing my shirt today, my Office shirt. Steve Carell being Michael Scott, the boss on The Office. And for those of you who might not know, The Office is easily my favorite show. It's hilarious. I love it. So with those two behind the project, I thought this thing was set to be gold. It was going to be great. It was going to be hilarious. Boy, was I wrong. So just to begin with, Space Force is a show on Netflix. Each episode is like 35 minutes long, and it centers around kind of making fun of the fact that the US now has a Space Force branch of its military, and it kind of plays on what exactly that will look like going forward. You've got Steve Carell as the lead, General Naird or something. See, I don't even remember these characters' names. I think it was General Naird. Steve Carell actually does an okay job in this role. It's a little bit gimmicky how he's got the gruff military voice. Sometimes he sounds like a general, like he's playing that character, and it's a little bit too much for me sometimes. But he has some funny moments. Starring alongside Steve Carell is John Malkovich, who plays kind of an uppity scientific professor. And I haven't seen a lot of John Malkovich's previous films, but I feel like in this show in particular, he falls into the John Malkovich trap, which is that every line he delivers is, well, I think you know that the astronomical proportions of the universe are expanding comparatively well in relationship. That was like the worst John Malkovich impression ever, but everything he says is said in the same way. And I get it, he's trying to play this like uppity scientist, but it just becomes kind of annoying after a while. Another big name in this, big-ish name, is Ben Schwartz, who basically plays John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. I love John Ralphio from Parks and Rec. Did I need another version of him in Space Force? No. But that character did provide some more funny moments. There's some other big-name cameos. You know, you've got Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow is Steve Carell's wife. And I'm just going to hit you with a spoiler alert right now. She's one of the biggest disappointments in this show because she spends the entirety of it pretty much locked away in jail. And again, spoiler alert, we never know why. They never tell us why. Why, Netflix? Why is Phoebe in jail? Apparently they're saving that for season 2. I don't buy it. I don't even know if this show is going to get a season 2. So this show is not short in any way on cast, creative minds behind it, or budget. I don't know the actual statistics on this, but evidently it cost Netflix a lot of money to make the show, and I believe it because there's a lot of CGI, a lot of like big environmental pieces, because this is the Space Force and they're operating out of this huge facility in the desert. There's rocket ships being launched. There's some silly CGI too that comes into play, and this is really getting at the heart of my issues with this show, and that's that it's all like pomp and circumstance and big names and big set pieces, but there's nothing there. Like I didn't walk away from this show caring about any of the characters, really. I didn't find most of the interactions between characters to be very funny, honestly. And even some of the cool set pieces and things were bogged down by these like crazy ideas and script pieces that I think are meant to be funny, but like, again, this is in the trailer, so this isn't really a spoiler alert, but they have a CGI chimp in space, and like, the things that they have this chimp do are just ludicrous. And I personally can't suspend my disbelief that much. where there's a CGI chimpanzee in space performing actions that I don't even think a human, honestly, would be able to do. I couldn't find that funny then. Like I said, I love Steve Carell. I loved The Office. I loved Parks and Rec. But this show is not like those. It's meant they sort of spinned it as this workplace comedy at the Space Force, but it's just, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of big name actors and actresses that just aren't utilized well. So guys, I hate to say it, this is the first negative review that I've done for Pope Culture, but man, Space Force is bad.
Boo!
It's bad. I don't even have much to say when it comes to looking at Space Force from a Catholic perspective, other than, again, little mini spoiler alert, but over the course of the show, as Phoebe sits in jail, her name's not Phoebe, I can't remember her name. See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't even know these characters' names. But as she's sitting in jail, she comes to the realization that her marriage with Steve Carell doesn't really mean much because she's locked away for a long time. Again, for something we don't know. We don't know why. But she's locked away for some reason. And so she decides that it's best if they pursue an open marriage. And that just shoots down the core of what marriage is. And Phoebe goes on a long soliloquy about how they made vows to love each other and this is just a new way of loving each other. I'm sorry, that's not true. When you make the vows to each other, you vow to be faithful and true to each other, and only each other. You don't get to just explore and try new things out with other people when tough stuff comes up. That's not how marriage works. That's not how it's ever worked. I was almost proud because Steve Carell's character, for a couple of episodes, resists the idea and says, no, that's not what marriage is about. But of course, no, then we have to give in this relativistic culture. We have to give in to the idea that open marriages are okay and that it's okay to use each other for sexuality and for sexual purposes, that's okay. It's not. It's not. Being faithful means one thing, and that's being faithful in marriage to your spouse and to your spouse only. Not compromising on values, not compromising on loving anyone as much or more than your spouse. That's what the ring means, kids. That's what the ring is for. And the show really did a disservice to marriage. So there you go, guys. That's my take on Space Force. I'm curious, what did you think? Did you find any of it to be funny, or was it just kind of painful for you like it was for me? Especially coming from The Office being my favorite show. I just wanted something funny, Netflix. You know, with everything going on in the world, it would have been nice to just laugh a little. And the show did not do that for me. But what did you think? Did you like Space Force? Do you have any ideas about why Phoebe is locked away for basically the entire first season of this show? Do you think they're going to come out with a second season? Or is this show going straight to the garbage heap? Like, I kind of think it should. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next Pope Culture video. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you. God bless you.